The mother of a teen who was killed in a crash in November wants the driver's parents to be charged. Ann Vanker says the mother of 17-year-old Kiernan Tague knew about his reckless driving and did nothing about it. Vanker says Tague's mother should be charged criminally. Back in November, investigators say Tague was racing down Moran in Grosse Pointe Farms at more than 100 miles per hour when he crashed into a tree. Vanker's son, Flynn, died at the scene, while Tague survived and was eventually charged with second-degree murder. In an interview with WJR Radio, Vanker says Tague's mom ignored her son's bad behavior and reckless driving.
The detective in Grosse Pointe Farms that put together hundreds of pages got a search warrant for the phone and the Life 360 app. He only has a short period of time for Life 360 and the details. It is clear from the moment he got the car that in the beginning of July, he took pictures of himself going 127 and 148 miles an hour on July 3rd.
The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office confirmed that they are reviewing an arrest warrant request from Grosse Pointe Farms Police for Tague's mother.
All right, let's bring in defense attorney and former prosecutor Rick Convertino. Rick, thanks for being here with us.
Good evening.
So we've been hearing a lot about different cases where parents are being held accountable for what their children are doing. What are your thoughts on this case and the fact that they're saying that there were clear warnings leading up to this situation?
There were clear warnings. In fact, the putative defendant's mother had an app that she downloaded called Life 360, where she was monitoring her son's use of the vehicle, the BMW, the high-speed vehicle that was involved in the crash, the fatal crash, where the young man was killed in Grosse Pointe. And she texts him several times saying, you know, I just screenshotted you going 153 miles an hour. I screenshotted you going 126 miles an hour. And this occurred over a period of months. So from July to August, I have some notes on it, from 2023. This young man was traveling in an Audi, his mother's Audi, going 127 miles an hour, 143 miles an hour, 116 miles an hour, 150 miles an hour, and 155 miles an hour. Then in September, he was going, according to the app, 153 miles an hour in drag racing. In October, she bought a BMW, his mother, and he was caught going 148 miles an hour. He was 16 and then 17. November 1st, 153 miles an hour. November 1st through November 17th, 94 trips, of which he went 90 miles an hour. 94 trips in which he was traveling 90 miles an hour. And she was monitoring this. And then, of course, November 17th was the fatal crash where he was going over 110 miles an hour in a 25 mile an hour zone. He went and picked up his friend, Flynn, and 1 minute later, they had the crash where he accelerated from 0 to over 100 in a minute's time, hit a pole, flipped the car, and killed Flynn. So that, coupled with the apps, the apps coupled with the text messages between the mother and son, this was a kid who was totally out of control. 22 police visits regarding the son's behavior. He was charged with domestic violence for punching and beating his mother several times. So that's where the kind of the ambiguity in this case comes, was the mother seemed to be a victim in this case. He was totally out of control. She reported to the police that she was afraid of him several times, and just couldn't stop his behavior, although she was well aware of it. Now, didn't take the keys, didn't do anything that would seemingly prevent him from doing that. And you have to, the one question that comes to mind is if Flynn's mother, the young man who died in this tragic accident, if his mother were told, look, I want you to see the driving record of this kid that your son's getting in the car with right now, what would her reaction have been? She would immediately refuse to have allowed her son, and he would have probably refused to get in the car with this kid. So there are a lot of similarities to the Crumbley case. I know that's what people all over the country are talking about, the similarities. There really are. There was a case in Queens, New York, where a similar kind of incident occurred where the parents were charged, so it wouldn't be unprecedented. I think in this case, the was the mother reckless? Her duty of care, did she breach it? I think she did. I think she was deathly afraid of her son, which mitigates the issue, but I do think that they're going to charge. I think they should charge in this case, and I think that they should proceed to trial.
Is there potentially an argument? You mentioned text messages and the fact that there was a monitoring app. When you're texting him saying slow down, you know, not exactly an extreme effort, not the same as taking the car away if that were even a possibility, but is there an argument that that was an attempt to do something about it?
Well, yeah, well, it clearly was an attempt, but there also were text messages from the mother. There was a text message that caught my eye where she said to him, on your way home, pick me up some wine. And then there was a discussion in text messages about that the mother knew that he had a fake identification. And she said, you know, told him what the ramifications of being caught with that were. So not only did she know he had a fake ID, but she was using that for her advantage to have him purchase her some wine. So there's a lot that we don't know about this case. I'm sure there are more text messages. There are more of the 360 Life app that show the traveling, the speeding record of this young man. That'll all be, you know, aggravating factors. So there's a lot we don't know, but it seems that because the Grosse Pointe Police Department referred the case to Wayne County and they're considering it, I think that they're going to be charges of the mother. The father, the boy's father, the driver's father, is deceased, so the mother would be charged alone.
We are very short on time, but I do want to ask very quickly, would the age make a difference? We're talking about a 17-year-old and 18-year-old victim, the Crumbly case, the shooter in that case, a couple of years younger. Might that make a difference? I
think it would. It certainly weighs to the benefit of the charging decision. He was charged with as a designated adult, which means that the judge can consider both aspects of juvenile and adult considerations when the judge, he or she, is making the decisions in this case, the critical decisions in this case as it goes forward. But as of right now, I think that I mean, the facts are so egregious in this case that he would be, I think, if he's convicted, will be severely sentenced.
Yeah, so many different factors here, and we're going to be watching them all. Rick, hopefully you'll come back with us and help us pull this apart as we keep watching it. Thank you.
Thank you both.